Robert, what do you think the ceiling is for Wentz and the Commanders this year?
Laura, I'll say it. The Washington Commanders have surprise Super Bowl contender written all over them.
Wow.
The reason they went and got Carson Wentz is because if he plays like he did last year, they will at least be in playoff contention because it was better than the quarterback play they had last year. But if he can turn the clock back to 2017 where he was an MVP candidate, he can help lead the Washington Commanders on a deep playoff push. And you know, once you get into the deep playoffs, the next step is the Super Bowl. When I look at this roster, McKinzick at third down back. They got Antonio Gibson, who's a phenomenal running back as well. They're loaded at wide receiver. Scary Terry. They got a healthy Curtis Samuel and Jaha Dotson that they just drafted from Penn State. And that defensive line, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Dayron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Fedarius Mathis that they just drafted. Fedarius Mathis just drafted, right? That defensive line has to show up. That defense underperformed last year, and because of that, they struggled collectively as a team. But if they can get all those ifs, and it's a lot of ifs to go together, their roster is stacked, and it's the best roster Washington has had in at least the last 10 years.
Did I hear? Did I hear?
A lot of ifs.
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Super Bowl, RG3?
Yeah.
Super Bowl in Washington?
They don't bring in Carson Wentz. They don't bring in Carson Wentz if they're not trying to win a Super Bowl. They're paying him a boatload of money. If they can get just an inkling of that MVP season out of him, that's going to put them in the playoff contention. Not just playoff contention, but also contention to win a Super Bowl.
So this begs the question. What are the chances that we get the Washington Commanders and New York Jets in the Super Bowl, RG3?
We got 10 wins for the Jets already on this team.
Nah, that's
He's out on that.
I said 10 wins for the Jets, Shefty. I said 10 wins. I did not say Super Bowl. Put that on me.
Get it straight. Robert, he's going to tweet it out right now that's what you said. Go ahead, D-Wood. What do you think about this?
I know. Man, listen. 2017 seemed like eons ago as far as football is concerned. Here's my question about Carson Wentz. Can zebras change their stripes? I don't think so.
Well, and I guess you wonder, are his stripes those 2017 stripes? But you're thinking they're not.
What if the body of work said that's what he is, who he is, okay? What we saw against the Jacksonville Jaguars when it was all on the line for the Indianapolis Colts to get to the Super Bowl, and what does Carson Wentz go out there and does? Play hero ball, turn the ball over, has a horrible game, and the Indianapolis Colts missed the playoffs, okay? You're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles trading him. Goes to Indianapolis for 1 year. They said, nope, we don't want you, and now pawns him off to the Washington Commanders. Listen, I want him to succeed, but at some point, you are what you are until you prove otherwise.
You know, Adam, the other thing, too, that I think is important to remember here is that he was reunited with Frank Reich in Indy. And a lot of people said, well, so maybe that was why he had success before. And then, once again, that doesn't make a difference.
No, it's 2 straight years. He's going on his 3rd team in 3 seasons. There aren't a lot of players who have more to prove this season than Carson Wentz. Washington has a lot riding on him. And Washington was aggressive early on in going to get Carson Wentz, right? It could have sat back, waited, and if it had waited, right now you'd be sitting there saying, should we take Baker Mayfield off Cleveland's hands? Should we try to get Jimmy Garoppolo? But they wanted to secure that position right away and gave up a lot to get him because they believed in him. So there is a lot riding on Carson Wentz, just as there was last year. But this team's counting on him, and it needs him. It needs him to deliver to make RG3's Super Bowl prediction come true.
Well, Robert, I'm interested. Let's say, based on what this team looks like as a whole, I realize this is not real, but I want to know your answer here. What if they had gotten Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo? Would you feel better about him or just the same as you feel about him with Wentz?
Well, Laura, I'll say this. I would have felt better for the Washington Commanders had they gotten Jimmy Garoppolo. I felt like he was a guy with the supporting cast that they have. He's a proven winner. He's not a guy that's going to win the games for you, but he can take you there. So I'd have been more comfortable with that. But I would say to Shefty and to Woody, this is the best roster that Carson has ever played with, whether he was in Philly or Indianapolis. So they are riding on his coattails and kind of hoping that 2017 version of him comes out. But they also didn't just play around. They surrounded him with extreme talented players. So when I look at it, no, I'm not saying that the Washington Commanders are going to win the Super Bowl. But if they get the Carson Wentz from 2017, they got a chance.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.